After a joyful reunion with his brother Esau, Jacob set up camp in Succoth. Later he moved to Shechem, where his daughter Dinah was unfortunately raped. But two of his sons set out and took revenge on the whole city. Welcome back to the program, everybody. I'm Reverend Sid, and today we're going to be reading Genesis chapter 34, verses 1 through 31, Revenge Against Shechem. And if you ain't did it already, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like, share, and comment on any video on this channel. All right, let's begin our reading of Genesis chapter 34, verses 1 through 31. One day, Dinah, the daughter of Jacob and Leah, went to visit some other young women who lived in the area. But when the local prince Shechem, son of Hamor the Hivite, saw Dinah, he seized her and raped her. But then he fell in love with her and tried to win her affection with tender words. He said to his father Hamor, "Get me this young girl. I want to marry her." Soon Jacob heard that Shechem had defiled his daughter Dinah. But since his sons were out in the fields herding his livestock, he said nothing until they returned. Hamor, Shechem's father, came to discuss the matter with Jacob. Meanwhile, Jacob's son had came in from the field. And as soon as they heard what happened, they were angry and they were shocked and furious that their sister had been raped. Shechem had done a disgraceful thing against Jacob's family, something that never should be done. Hamor tried to speak with Jacob and his son. "Shechem is truly in love with your daughter," he said. "Please let him marry her. In fact, let's arrange other marriages too. You give us your daughters for our son, and we will give you our daughters for your son. And you may live amongst us. The land is open to you. Settle here and trade with us, and feel free to buy property in this area." Then Shechem himself spoke to Dinah's father and brother. "Please be kind to me and let me marry her," he begged. "I will give you whatever you ask. No matter what dowry or gift you demand, I will gladly pay it. Just give me the girl as my wife." But since Shechem had defiled their sister Dinah, Jacob's son responded deceitfully to Shechem and his father. They said to them, "We couldn't possibly allow this because you're not circumcised. It would be a disgrace for our sisters to marry men like you. But here's a solution. If every man amongst you will be circumcised like we are, then we will give you our daughters, and we'll take your daughters for ourselves. We will live amongst you and become one people. But if you don't agree to be circumcised, we will take her and be on our way." Hamor and his son Shechem agreed to their proposal. Shechem wasted no time in acting on this request, for he wanted Jacob's daughters desperately. Shechem was a highly respected member of his family, and he went with his father Hamor to present this proposal to the leaders at the town gate. "These men are our friends," they said. "Let's invite them here among us and trade freely with them. Look, this land is large enough to hold them. We can take their daughters as our wives and let them marry ours. But they will consider staying here and become one people with us only if all of our men are circumcised, just like they are. But if we do this, all their livestock and possessions will eventually be ours. Come, let's agree to their terms. Let them settle here among us." So all the men in the town council agreed with Hamor and Shechem, and every male in the town was circumcised. But 3 days later, when their wounds were still sore, two of Jacob's sons, Simeon and Levi, who were Dinah's full brother, took their swords, entered the town without opposition, and they slaughtered every male there, including Hamor and his son Shechem. They killed them with their sword. Then they took Dinah from Shechem's house and returned to their camp. Meanwhile, the rest of Jacob's sons arrived, finding the men slaughtered. They plundered the town because their sister had been defiled there. They seized all the flocks and the herds and donkeys, everything they could lay their hands on, both inside the town and outside in the field. They looted all their wealth and plundered their houses. They took all their little children and wives and led them away as captives. Afterwards, Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, "You have ruined me. You have made me stink amongst all the people in this land, among all the Canaanites and the Perizzites. We are so few that they will join forces and crush us. I will be ruined, and my entire household will be wiped out. Why should we let them treat our sister like a prostitute?" they retorted angrily. Shechem may have been a victim of love at first sight, but his actions were impulsive and evil. Not only did he sin against Dinah, he sinned against the entire family. The consequence of his deed was severe for both his family and Jacob's. Even Shechem's declared love for Dinah could not excuse the evil he did by raping her. All right, everybody, thank you for joining me for this reading, and join me on the next one where we'll jump in Genesis chapter 35, verses 1 through 15, Jacob's return to Bethel. Can't wait to see y'all again. Have a blessed one.